she make it clap. I got the strap, 21 gats, feel like I'm savage. 21 bitches and none of them average. I'm gon' fuck me tonight, me a bad bitch. I don't give a fuck about niggas, I don't give a fuck about hoes. I don't give a fuck about your bros, I don't give a fuck about your toes, your hoes, your manicure, pedicure toes. I'm coming on the block with the rocks, 20-inch Glocks in my socks. Niggas keep doing that crazy ass shit. If I go to jail, I'ma keep a lock in the.
Alright, so let's get into it. Also, thank y'all for so much support. I have 190 subscribers because of y'all, so thank y'all so much. Without further ado, let's get back into it. This is what if Naruto had a six dojustu part 4, 3, 4. Yeah, I think it's part 4. Yeah, it's definitely part 4. But yeah, let's get into it. Naruto says this, or no, we left off where Naruto said, we will reign terror on this world, or some shit like that. It was on this village. But all I know, the outro was smooth. So yeah, not as Naruto goes. He says, Tsunade. No. He says, Tsunade, come here. As she says, yes, master. As he says, Konan, and he says, Konan, 02, come here. As they all sit down on their knees. As he said, what is it, master? As they, as Naruto kisses all of them and says, I love all of you. And she says, they say, we love you too, master. As she says, no, just call me Naruto. Or he says, call me Naruto now. He says, call me Naruto when you say you love me. Don't call me master. As he smiles. As she says, they says, I love you, Naruto. As they're expected to be getting punished. As Naruto says, I won't punish you. And he chuckles. As he says, he gets Nagato, Pain, Madara, and Madara's girlfriend. He says, wait, I'm pretty sure it was one person. Yeah, it was, I didn't mean to say Nagato's girlfriend. Well, they're dating, but, you know, it's, whatchamacallit, Gaara's mama. I forgot. I think I said I was gonna name her Emily. Yeah, I think I said that. So, yeah. Naruto, he body flickers, or they start tree hopping. They start tree hopping, and they get there. As they get there, Tsunade says, she says, she says, master, may I get my sister? As he says, sure. And he says, you can grab your loved ones if you want. As she says, oh, okay, thank you. As she kisses him and runs. As she gets there, she says, come on. As she grabs her little sister, and she says, this village is about to get destroyed by my master. You have to come. As she runs with Tsunade. And she says, oh, okay. She says, okay, big sis. As she's running with Tsunade, she sees her dad. She says, Tsunade, where have you been? You've been gone for nearly... She says, you've been gone for more... No. Tsunade has been visiting the leaf to visit her sister. She says, Tsunade, where have you been? You've been gone for more than a year. She says, Dad, I don't... No. She says, Dad, and he says, what? And she says, don't talk to me like that. I'm not I'm not your daughter anymore. As not as she grabs he grabs Tsunade's hair and says you bitch. And Naruto grabs his hand and says, don't touch her. As he breaks his hand. As he says, you bastard. As I'm pretty sure it's Hashi. Tobirama. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Tobirama. Tobirama, he gets his hand broke. Yeah. And, he's, he says, don't you ever lay your hand on her. As, as, um, as Naruto says, as the fuck Tobirama says, I don't care. She's my daughter and she's coming with me. She hasn't even done anything to help Senju. She's a princess for no reason. And she says, I should have sold you. She looks at Tsunade and says that dead in her eyes. As she looks at Tsunade's little sister. And she says, come on, princess, let's go back. He's a bad man. As she looks at Naruto. Tsunade looks at Naruto. Tsunade's little sister looks at Naruto. And he looks at Tsunade. And he says, no, my sister wouldn't be with the bad man. Right, sister? As he says, no. Yeah. She says no. As he says, he says, Naruto says, I'm not a bad man. I just teach. He says, I'm not a bad man. I just teach, wait, no. Tsunade says, yeah, I wouldn't. Naruto's not a bad guy. He's just, as he says, getting revenge. As he says, yeah, you could say that, getting revenge on the people who did him wrong. As she says, then why are you bringing me? I didn't do anything to him. As she says, I know, but this village did, and they have to pay. As she says, but what about my friends? And Naruto says, Tsunade, get your sister out of here. As he sighs. And he says, listen here, Tobirama. As he body flicks in front of him and has those, he has his sex dojustu eyes, yeah. And he says, where the hell is your wife? Yeah. He says, where's your wife? As she says, like I tell you that. As he puts him in the genjutsu. And he says, now where the hell is your wife? As he puts it in the genjutsu where it looks like Naruto is his wife. And she says, Naruto, she says, Hashirama, honey, where's the house? Clumsy me forgot. As he shows her. And he says, it's here, don't forget again, okay? As he says, idiot. As he neck chops Hashirama. And he goes into the house basically where Tsunade's mom is. As he says, she turns around. She's in a, what's that motherfucker? What is it? A chef? It's not a chef coat. It's a, I forgot what it was called. I had one. I'm a major chef, so I forgot what it was called though. It's like what you wear. An apron. Apron. It's called an apron. But yeah, he puts on his she's wearing an apron with basically no clothes on. And she says, Hashirama, honey. And she turns around and says, Who are you? As Naruto looks into her eyes with the genjutsu. I mean, with his sex dojutsus. His sex dojutsu eyes. As she instantly, gets horny. I'm so sorry, Sonata, but I gotta do this. I don't even care no more. Sheesh. But yeah. Naruto puts her in the genjutsu eyes as she can't resist. As she falls down. As she says, what did you do to me? As Naruto chuckles and says, you're mine now. He wasn't even treating you right, was he? As she looks down, she gotta get it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Naruto says he wasn't even treating you right. He was just toying with you. How could you love him? As he says he was forcing you, wasn't he? As she looks down in disappointment. As she says, I couldn't say anything. As he says, it's okay, I know how you feel. As she says, what do you mean? You know how I feel. As he says, I've been betrayed before. Or, he says, you feel like, you've been betrayed, or feel like you don't want to do this, or every time you have sex, he forces you, himself on you, and you have to cooperate, or he'll hit you. As she says, yeah, how did you know? As he says, I know a lot of things. Plus, she says, I have a little experience from myself. As she says, you've been raped? As Naruto looks at her with who the fuck do you think I am? And he says, what? No, I haven't been touched. I'm just saying I know how it feels. I know how it feels to be betrayed. That's what I was trying to say. I wasn't saying I, got raped. As she says, oh, sorry. As he chuckles and says, no, it's fine. As Naruto, she looks in Naruto's eyes and blame her barbecue. That'll look good in a bit. I ain't gonna lie with you, go school me some up. Alright, Naruto. Got that bitch. Naruto, not Tsunade's mama. I'ma call her, I wanted to call her Sadara so bad. And y'all do not know how bad I wanted to feel Sadara in this. I do not know. I don't care how old she is. You do not know how bad I couldn't do it. Nope. So, Tsunade's name is gonna be Tsunade. Let's get it. I don't really know her mama, so I'm gonna say her name is I'm gonna say her name is Sade. Fuck that. Nasra. Yeah, Nasra. Her name is Nasra. As she says, oh fuck that. Her name is Nami. Yeah, her name is Nami. Yeah, that's a good name. Know who Nami is, right? Yes, sir. But yeah, her name is Nami. And Izuku's, Naruto says, what do you, as he sees that she's looking at his cock, as she looks away quickly. As she says, "Thank you for saving me. Is there anything I can do to repay you?" As she says, "Yeah, join me, join me." As she says, "What do you mean join you? Aren't you evil? Aren't you evil?" As she says, he uses his genjutsu again, or sex dojustu eyes. As she says, "Yes, I'll join you." And Naruto chuckles. Naruto chuckles, and he says now. He says now. He says, "I'm not a bad guy. It's just that I just came to get revenge on the villagers that caused me and my people, or not my people, but me and my team wrong." Yeah. As she says, she says, okay, she says, "Wow, who betrayed you?" As he says, "Do you remember little boy Naruto?" As she widens her eyes, as she says, "Naruto." As he says, "Yeah." He says, "You Tsunade's best friend." He says you were Tsunade's best friend, even though you were younger than her. He says, "Yeah, she used to always tease me, and we used to always play together. I remember those days." As Naruto chuckles and says, I still play with her today." As she says, "Really?" As she says, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." As she says, "Oh wow, what do you guys play?" As she says, "What do you guys play?" And Naruto says, "Oh, that doesn't matter now. Just come on." As she grabs her hand. He grabs her hand. Not she grabs her hand. He grabs her hand. And Naruto says, Naruto says, so, he says, so, oh, never mind. Naruto says, no, Naruto's Tsunade's mama. Tsunade's mother says, she says, Naruto turns around and she hugs him from behind, touching his thighs and rubbing them. As Naruto's thinking, "Damn, this is Tsunade's mother." But if he says even if it is, do I care? As Naruto smirks, as he turns around. Oh, and by the way, y'all know Tsunade got her genes from, right? Her mama. She got them. She knows she got her skills from her mama. Who do you think the master is, Tsunade or her mama? As Tsunade, not Tsunade. Yeah, actually, yeah. Tsunade says, "What's taking him so long?" As she says, he's talking to Senju and making sure that he doesn't destroy any people who didn't damn him or anything. As Tsunade says, "When did you?" She smacks her head and says, "When did you learn bad words?" As she says, "Oh, every time you came, you used to say them." As Tsunade thinks about times she used to come back, and actually she has said some bad words in her eyes. And she says, "You can't say those words." As she says, "Why? You say them all the time." As she starts cursing. As Naruto's still in the house. As he says, he says quickly, "Get on your knees." As she gets on her knees, and she has the heart things in her eyes with the one. Yeah, with the one. As he says, she's on her knees, and he says, she says, what do you want me to, actually, she says, what do you want me to do? As he says, he unbuttons his pants and says, suck me. As she says, okay. As he says, and if you can't take the first load, you'll be punished. As he laughs, or she chuckles. As he has a dump, no, he says, you can't take the first load. Well then, I don't think you'll be able to take any more loads. As she says, what does that mean? As he says, she says, you won't have to find out if you just take the first load. He says, if you drop anything, well, you might even he says you might instantly go to level 3. And she says, what do you mean level 3? As he says, you'll find out later. As he gets her, she starts sucking him. And as she starts sucking him, Naruto is like, God damn, she's better than 02 and Tsunade combined. As she's still wearing this apron. As Naruto comes even faster than he does with 02. As he's like, damn, I think I got a new favorite. As he says, no, I can't do this. Tsunade. As he says, fuck it. As she takes the whole load in, and she starts playing with his balls. And she says, I want another load. That was so. Hey, no homo, bro. When I say this shit, no homo, my nigga. Like, no gay shit. She says that was so sticky. I want another load. As she shows that she swallowed everything. As Naruto says, do you want another load? And she says, As he says, you can't have one. As she says, why? As she says, you swallowed everything. And he says, and besides, you're better than my favorite. As she says, who's your favorite? As he says, some girl. He says, a little girl named Jill too. And she says, how old is she? He says 13. As she in her head, she said, what the hell, 13? As she says, she says 13. Isn't that for, isn't that a predator? Are you a predator? And she says, what? No. She pounced on me first, so I just handled it. Handled it. As she says, okay. As she falls, as she gets up and says, I'm ready. As Naruto says, I can have your fat ass. He says, no. He says, I can have that fat ass being shown to anyone else. Go put some clothes on. As she says, okay. And he says, from now on, call me Master. But when you say you love me, call me Naruto. As she says, he says, yes, Naruto, yes, Master. And he says, and if you accidentally call me Naruto, he says, if you accidentally call me Naruto, and, he says, yeah. He says, if you accidentally call me Naruto and not Master, well then, hey, It's not my fault. And she says, what do you mean? And okay. She says, okay, master. As she goes to her thing, to her room. And she says, I really want another load. And Naruto says, oh, hurry up. I don't have all day. And she says, okay, coming. And she started. Hey, I just thought of something. What the hell did I just say? She says, okay, here I come. As she starts coming. It not like that though. She comes to Naruto and she comes to Naruto. She comes to Naruto and she says, okay, I'm ready. As she's wearing some oh no, she's wearing tight pants. Like, he looks at her like, damn. He says, I can see your pussy. You'll be punished. As she said, she think being punished is like she can handle it. She says, okay. As Naruto chuckles and says, okay. As we go back toward Naruto, Madara is is wiping out the Uchiha clan along with his parents because they treated him wrong. Like, they didn't give a shit about him. And so did Naruto's girlfriend. Because he was weak. He was supposedly a weak Uchiha. And he did unlock the Rinne Sharingan. No. I'm gonna say Nagato. Nagato. He unlocked the Rinne Sharingan. And Nagato unlocked the Rinne Sharingan. And he says, no. Look at how long this took us. $400. And he says, Nagato he can do the Shinra Tensei or Almighty Push yet. Like, he can do them, but it's not like that strong. So he can only do maybe a chunk, like 4 to 5 chunks, and his cooldown is like 10 seconds. As he says, Almighty Push, as he blows a chunk away, and his girl, she has the one tails destroying this fucking village. As Naruto says, retreat, as they all come back to the front of the village, as Naruto whips out his Rinnegan, and he says, now, the same thing that Pain did, and guess who's there to save them? Nobody. Fucking no one. Good enough? Sasuke, gone. Tsunade, gone. Beating her cheeks. I ain't gonna do that. But I'm gonna say, Hashirama comes out as he did the Shinra Tensei. And he looks at him and he says, where's my wife? As he says, Shinade says, what does he mean? As he sees his mother coming to them. As she says, Naruto wanted me to come with you guys. She said I'm getting punished when we get home. He says Naruto said I was getting punished. As he says, that bastard. He says Tsunade says he's trying. You know what? He fucked my mom, didn't he? He's gonna fuck her when we get home. Fucking bastard. As she chuckles and says, alright, Mom. And she says, is that a good thing? As she says, you'll find out when you get there. As she says, okay. As Hashirama has no match for Naruto. As Hashirama says, he does a thousand, the fuck was that motherfucker called? 1,000 bitches, you know the shit, the fucking hands, you know the fucking, that thing, he does that shit. Or like the 100 hands. I think it's called 100 seals. No, it's not called 100 seals. No, cause that's Tsunade stuff. 100 seals, it's the strong shit, right? Hey, he does the hand shit, and Naruto chuckles and says, "Oh, that can stop me." No, as he's to act like he's faking, he's retreating, and Naruto, he gets struck down. As he's laying down, as Tsunade runs and says, "Naruto," and he looks at her and says, "I'm gonna miss you." As he holds her cheek, and his hand falls. As Naruto says, "No, I was just playing." As he gets up and he looks at Hashirama and says, "You actually landed a scratch on me." As he body flicks at him, puts him in a genjutsu with that Sharingan of his. That's dirty as shit. Do we have our new? What? As he says, this is our new zero turn thing, our $120 nozzle. I don't love it. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really love it. I think we can do better than that. I think something. He says, Naruto says, as he puts him in a genjutsu with the Sharingan, with the one that I said the flower pattern. Yeah, that one. This thing isn't just orange. It's pretty interesting. He says, as he puts him in the genjutsu, he says, no. Amaterasu. Let me get it right. He says Amaterasu as he gets burnt to a crisp. As Tsunade walks up to him and says, "Why did you scare me like that?" As she starts crying. And Naruto, he says, "Hey." She says, "Hey, there's no need to." And the other girls knew Naruto like couldn't die that easily. And she says, "Hey." He says, "Hey, don't cry." As he kisses her passionately. As she says, "Why'd you do that?" As he kisses her again and grabs her waist. As he says, sorry. I won't do it again, okay? I promise. As she says, fine. As he wipes her tears. And as he wipes her tears, as he wipes her tears and he says, I don't cry. I don't like to see you sad. As he kisses her again and grabs her butt. As she chuckles, and that's after she chuckles. She says, what? It's not really, she says, I guess for like the wood pieces, we want it to be a little bit more exact, just because I'm focused. She says, she moans a little bit as he grabs her ass. And Naruto says, as he kisses her and starts using a lot of tongue. As so yeah. It's Naruto. They get home and Naruto says, Naruto says no. He says no. Guys, I would like to introduce you. I would like to introduce someone new to the list. As everyone says, huh? As she says zero, she looks at zero too, and she says she looks at him and says, "What is it?" And he says nothing. As she says Conan as he kills her, and other girls like, "Why'd you do that?" And she says, "She didn't pleasure me good enough, but I have someone to replace her." And she says, "Who?" And she says, "Tsunade's mom." As Tsunade says, "You idiot!" As she tries to hit him, and he hits all her weak spots as she falls down. And he says, "I'll be back. I have to teach her a lesson." As he takes her to her room and says, "Tsunade, why'd you try that?" As she said, "I can't move. If I do, it's so sensitive." As Nata says, I know. As she starts moving her legs and she starts moaning loud. As Nata says, "Now, please tell me why'd you do that?" As she says, "Because that's my mother." As she says, "It doesn't matter." And he looks at her and he says, "I'll fuck who I want to. Okay?" As she says, "Okay, master, sorry. Please, I don't." As she says, shh. It's okay. Just rest. I won't do anything yet." And she says, "What do you mean?" He says, "I'll be back." As he makes shadow clones to start rotating her legs non-stop, and other shadow clones to hear her weak spots. Basically, her weak spots. Basically, her weak spots is if you hit them, she becomes super sensitive everywhere, especially in her pussy. So yeah, Naruto. Oh shit. Naruto says Naruto says as he says everyone seems Conan under the body. As he gets rid of it instantly and drops the blood. As he says, "Now she's dead." I'm sorry I had to bring Conan out. I wasn't even using her like that. She says, "Now she's dead." He says, "Let's get started." And she says, "Now for your punishment." I forgot what I was gonna name her. I'm just naming her Boa. Boa Hancock. Actually, no, I can't do it. I can't do it to my baby girl. I'm gonna name her I don't know. I forgot what I was gonna name her, but I'm gonna name her I'll just name her something. Tsunade. What's something that Tsunade? What is Tsunade name? Sama? Sada? Sus? Ash? No, I'm just name her. I'm gonna name that bitch Emily. I name all my niggas. I'm sorry. Actually, no, I already have it. They already have it. Emily. I'm gonna name her Sophie. I don't know. So she says she says she says she says basically she says my name. No, not just says what is your name? And she says my name. Hey, I got she didn't say that already, and it was back at the crib. All right, cause forgot it. She says my name is Sophia. As she smiles and blushes, as Naruto gets up on her. As Zirto notices this, and she says, I have to go to the restroom. And she basically, Zero Two is sad because she's sad that he's not his favorite anymore. As he says, damn. He says, I think as she says, oh well, I need, he says, no, it's not, oh well, I need to start caring about their feelings. As he says, no. As he looks at her and says, I'll begin your punishment in 10 minutes. Go into that room there. As they go into that room, or not to go, he tells her to go into the room. She goes. As he walks into the restroom to see Zero Two crying silently. As he body figures in front of her and kisses her. As she says, you're still my favorite, you know. And she says, I am. As he says, yeah. I don't think anyone could replace you that quickly. As she says, that might have been the quickest thing we've ever cleaned right there. That was fantastic. She says, I love you, Naruto. As he chuckles and says, I love you too. And he kisses her and says, now, I'll be back. He says, for now, could you go tell my shadow clone to stop? And just, you can sleep with Tsunade-chan if you want. As he says, as she says, oh, okay. As she says, she says, no. She says, okay. Naruto. And she skips happily to his room. And to his room, because that's basically where Tsunade always sleeps. His room. Zero Two sleeps in her room sometimes. Most she sleeps in Naruto. Or she sleeps in Naruto with on the couch. Going on. That's why I knocked her off. I really didn't have a plan with her. She's kind of in the way of this sex dojutsu. Yeah, Naruto says, I'll just start this punishment. As he goes inside and he sees Tsunade's mother naked. And whatever Tsunade looks like, that's Tsunade's, I don't know how to say this. Tsunade's mother looks just like Tsunade, but just an older version of her. And a better looking version. As Tsunade says, Naruto's mother, not Kushina, bitch. Tsunade's mother says, she says, how you gonna punish me? As Naruto spawns 8 shadow clones and says, get her. As they all implant the clock at the same time. As she says, I can't handle it. As Naruto starts laughing. And he says, yeah, I know. No one can besides 02 Tsunade. No, you're in Luby. As he starts laughing. As he puts his cock in her ass. As Naruto comes in her about 12 times each hole. Oh, no. He comes in like 5 times in her pussy. 7 times in her ass. And twice in her mouth. And she's sitting there. Just with cum inside of her. Everywhere. Cum dripping from her mouth. Cum dripping from her ass. Cum dripping from her pussy. And Naruto says, did you actually think you could take my punishment on the first go? Oh man, you're ridiculous. And she says, but you do give good head. I can't lie about that. As she says, now, he says, now that I'm done with that one, As he goes inside of his room and sees Tsunade, he sees Tsunade laying down with just her panties on, and Zero Two laying down with just her panties on, her panties and her bra on, and she says, "Damn it!" As he holds himself back from touching them, from touching Tsunade. As he looks at Zero Two, as she starts moving around in her sleep, and she says, Naruto, he walks out the room as he hears Tsunade. He hears Zero Two says, "God damn, it's hot." As she turns on the ceiling fan and takes off her panties and bra. As Naruto walks back into the room to see her naked, like ass naked, and he says, "Oh shit." As he looks at her, and his heart starts beating faster and faster. As she says, he picks her up and body flips out of the room, and he goes to the bathroom. Yeah, he goes to the bathroom and says, "I'm sorry, I couldn't handle it anymore. You're just teasing." As he plunges his cock inside of her, as she moans loudly, as he starts going in and out, and he says, "Damn it," as he comes inside of her, and he says, "I'm sorry, Zero Two, I just couldn't." As she says, "Naruto," she says, "No, it's okay, Master." As she gets up, and then she trips on Naruto, as Naruto is grabbing her ass and says, "Clumsy, clumsy." As she blushes, as he picks her up and starts fucking her, and her legs are wrapped around him. As Naruto says, "I'm coming." As he comes inside of her, as she twitches and comes drips from her pussy, as he says, "Damn it, I did it again." As he laughs and he kisses her forehead and says sorry. As he's about to leave, and she says, "Wait." As he says, she says, as he says, she looks down and says, "Please use shadow clones." As Naruto says, "Oh, you're asking for them? Alright, I'll give them to you." As Naruto summons 12 shadow clones. As she said, 12, we usually only do 8. As Naruto says, well, it's a new, says, this is how we're celebrating from destroying that village and killing that bastard man that kicked me from my clan. That rhymed like a bitch. Wait a minute. Destroying that village and kicking that bastard man like that, and killing that bastard man that kicked me from my clan. Big bars. It was accidentally big bars. Like, yeah. So, Izuku's, sorry, not fuck that nigga. And not fucking, but, hey, Naruto, he says, no. He tries to distract her. He says, "Do you want to use 12? And she says, "I'll go with 8. As Naruto says, "Okay." As he makes 2 more shadow clones. As she thinks they disappear too. As 2 cocks or 7 cocks go into her pussy. The other 7 go into her asshole. As she says, "My little body can't take all of this." As Naruto says laughing, he chuckles a little as he says, as she starts sucking him. It's hard though, like she can, but she can't. As Naruto says, "Now, suck me up." As she says, "I can't." As the shadow clones come inside of her, as she moans loudly while still sucking Naruto. as he blasts a load in her mouth. As she passes out from all the cum being coming inside of her. As he goes back into his room to find Tsunade wearing wearing that thing that she usually wear in Shippuden, that thingy. You know, when they first met and she wore the thing. You know what I'm talking about, right? And she said, Naruto says, Naruto, and she's not wearing any clothes either under it. Naruto says, well, down. As he goes to Tsunade and starts pressing her ass on his cock. As Naruto starts jerking out to this. As he comes in Tsunade's face. As she wakes up with cum in her face. As she says, what's going? As Naruto says, I'm sorry. Tsunade, as he plunges his cock inside of her pussy and makes a shadow clone inside of her ass. 2 shadow clones inside of her ass. As Naruto says, that hole isn't big enough for wait, yes the hell it is. Fuck that shit. As she starts taking 2 in her ass and 1 in her pussy. As Naruto says, damn it. As he says, this is just think of this as a reward for us defeating the village. As he comes inside of her twice. As her eyes are rolled up and her ass is in the air. Oh wait, no, her eyes are rolled up, her ass is in the air, and she's begging for more cum of Naruto's semen, yeah. As she says, no, give me some more Naruto, please, no gay shit, my nigga. As Naruto he inserts his cock again, and she moans loudly as he pours her arms back, showing her breast as he makes a shadow clone, as they start biting and sucking on her nipples. As Naruto says, as he activates his sex dojustu and makes her bodies 10 times more sensitive, as he makes the shadow clone go poof, and he let go of her arm as he starts fondling her titties, and Naruto says, fuck, as they come at the same time, and as milk comes through her titties, as Naruto says, what the hell, as he starts sucking her titties, and he says, this is actually good, as she says, you big baby, stop doing that, as Naruto touches one of her weak points, as she comes, and she says, baka, as Naruto says, I'm a baka, and she says, you idiot. As he plunges his cock back inside of her ass. He plunges back inside of her asshole, and he says, since I'm a baka, let's go 10 times harder. As he activates his Otsutsuki form, as he grows an extra 2 inches, as she moans loudly, and she says, I can't take it. As Naruto, he blows out her back. Time skip. We get to where Naruto wakes up on the couch sweating. As Naruto gets up, he says, as he goes to all the girls' room and sees that they're passed out, along with Tsunade, still in that same position, and with dried up coming out of her ass and coming out of her titties. Not coming out of her pussy, and dried up milk on the bed with her dried up milk on the bed from her titties, and dried up cum on her bed too. As Naruto says, damn it, it's not my fault they were naked. As she laughs, as Naruto says, Tsunade says, that wasn't funny. You paralyzed me. As she turns on her back, and Naruto says, get up and clean yourself out. Or he says, get up, you have to clean up yourself. As she says, you idiot, I can't. Fucking, you blew me out. As he chuckles and says, oh, sorry. As she says, yeah, sorry. As she says, Tsunade. As she says, yes. She says, yes, master. And she says, are you being disrespectful? As she said, no, master. I was, as she says, good. I wouldn't want you to get punished again, would I? As she blushes and says, no, master, you wouldn't. As Naruto. Whew. I thought I wasn't recording for a second. I was gonna be pissed. Couldn't even find the movies and things. But yeah, as Naruto walks into whatchamacallit's room, Tsunade's mom. I'm just calling her Boa. I'm sorry, I have to. She walks into Boa's room, and he says, he sees her still sitting there passed out. Same thing as Tsunade, dried up cum on the bed. As he goes to 02. As he sees her in the shower. As she's sitting. As Naruto says, why aren't you standing? It's a shower. As she says, I can't. Every time I try, I fall down. As Naruto says, I'm sorry, you should have never been naked. As Naruto picks her up and helps her take a shower. And Naruto kisses her and says, I'm gonna go help the others. Time skip next week. Naruto says, is everyone ready to go destroy the next village? As everyone says, as Tsunade, Boa, and 02 says, I'm not. As they say, why? As you say, Baka, you blew our backs out. As Tsunade's little sister says, what does that mean? Can you do it to me? As Naruto laughs. And Tsunade says, no, he can't. He's already done it to mom. He says he already done it to mom and me. He's definitely not gonna do it to you, okay? As he says, I could do it to anyone I want to. Fine, I'll blow your back out. As Tsunade says, but... And she says, I was just joking. And he kisses her. And he kisses all of them. And he says, no, I'm gonna go destroy this village. Monitor. As he says, this village, it's this stone village. Who would like to come? I'm pretty sure he scooped up 02 from this village. Madara and his girl. And Madara's girl. No. I meant to say 02. Nagato and whatchamacallit girl. And fucking, hey boy, guys, wow. But yeah, he says, he says, as he starts to, the names that I mentioned. He says, come on, we're gonna go to Shoei Village. As Tsunade, Boa, and the other guys. Tsunade, Boa, Madara, and Madara's girlfriend says, why can't we come? I want to destroy the village. As he says, no, this village wasn't meant for you. This village caused them real pain. As he, sorry I sounded like Pain in that. I'm pretty sure Pain's real name was Yahiko. Or some shit like that. Yeah, I think it was Yahiko. But yeah. As he says, Naruto says, he, As she says, as this, as he says, now, as they get to the village, he says, you may destroy. As they try destroying the stone village, and the Zero Two stays by his side and says, Master, what do you want me to do? I know this village caused me pain, but I really don't have any powers. As Naruto says, oh, you don't. As she says, no. And when she smiles cutely as he kisses her and says, damn, your smile is so cute. She blushes and says, thank you, master. As she says, nah. He says, I'll give you some power, okay? And she says, yay. And she jumps with him and says, what power am I gonna get? As Naruto says, calm down. As he gives her the Sharingan. Oh, wait. He doesn't get, no, he gives her the Renshiki that can absorb the jutsus. I'm pretty sure it can spit them back out too, but I ain't 100%. I don't think no, okay. I'm gonna say that if she absorbs a jutsu, it becomes 10 times stronger and she can spit it back out. Or she can say it and it'll perform without, like, if she used to say mud wall, she'll absorb it. And maybe if you do the hand signs and she say mud wall, it's gonna come out with spikes and everything, like 10 times bigger. As in same thing with Firewall Jutsu, it's gonna be basically a the fucking thing that Mater did, the Fire Stop Fire. I forgot what the bitch was called, but yeah, that's what it's basically gonna be. As Naruto says also, as he says, don't. He says this is gonna hurt. As he says, I'm gonna take your eyes out and replace them with the Renegons, with the Rene Sharingans. But I'm gonna make you able to turn it off and on, okay? As she says, oh, okay. As she opens her eyes bright and says, oh, I'm ready, Naruto. As Naruto says, okay. As he takes her eyes out, as she screams, and he puts her eyes back in, as she hugs him and says, that hurt so much. As Naruto says, I'm sorry. As he kisses her and says, now, go help them destroy that village. As they Nagato, the One Tails, Jinchuriki, Emily, slash, Gar's mom, and, Zero to destroy this village. As they get home, they see that everyone's training. And they see that Madara's training against Kunai. And he says, what Shurikens? Yeah, Shurikens, my bad. As he says, Naruto says, Madara, I think you've perfected it enough so I can give you something. You have the Rinnegan, don't you? I'm pretty sure I gave it to you. As he says, yes, Naruto. As he says, as he gives him the Rene Sharingan along with the Renshiki. Or, no, it's not called the Renshiki. The yellow Rene. He gives him the yellow Rinnegan with the Rene Sharingan. And he gives his girlfriend the Rene Sharingan. And she didn't have anything but just her regular Sharingan. He gives her the Rene Sharingan. Kaguya's Rene Sharingan. Or, I'm not sure who's more powerful, Kaguya's or Sasuke's. But I'm gonna say it's Sasuke's because that nigga a beast. I didn't go lie with y'all. So yeah, he says, he says, he said, Naruto says, no. He says, I actually just gave your girlfriend the Rene Sharingan. And she says, thank you. You didn't have to do that, sir. Or Naruto. As he says, I know. but I wanted to. He bows down on his knee and says, "Thank you. You helped me get revenge on my village. You helped me." Or he says, "You helped me get revenge on the people that I hated so much. Thank you, Naruto." As Naruto says, "No, it's no problem." As Naruto, as they walk inside. Oh, and by the way, he didn't actually take whatchamacallit's eyes out. He just evolved it, and so did he do whatchamacallit's eyes. But since Zero Two had normal eyes, that's what he had to do with Zero Two. Because she had normal eyes, she really didn't have any like special eyes like Sharingan. If she had a Sharingan, he would have just evolved it. But yeah, he had normal eyes. She had normal eyes, so she had to take her eyes. As Naruto gets home, he yawns and he says, "I'm really sleepy." As Boa runs and jumps on him and says, "Master, can we watch a movie?" As he says, "Sure." As he says, "Matter of fact, let's all watch a movie." As Madara says, "Master, do I have to? I want to go to sleep." And he says, "I have to do something with," as he signals, he's trying to have some sex with whatchamacallit. As he says, "Yes, you may go to sleep, son." As Madara goes to sleep with his girl. Or supposedly, my bad, let me say supposedly. Nagato does the same. Supposedly goes to sleep. As is just Konan. Fuck that, she dead. It's just Zero to Tsunade's mother and Tsunade and Naruto. As they get on the couch. And Naruto, he extended the couch where it's like a bed. It's like a 2 king size beds. As Naruto says, "Now, let's put on a movie." And this is where I'm gonna end this episode off because I got some juicy stuff planned for next episode.